a founding member of the series, asked for the following clarification. I just want to have this clear. We get an inhibition layer on UV gels because 50% of the UV gel is cured and the other 50% is not cured. We remove the 50% top layer that's not cured with alcohol. It doesn't cure because of oxygen in the air. Is this right? Well, first, I'm concerned that if only 50% of your UV gel is curing, that something could be wrong here. That does seem excessive and may indicate that something needs to be corrected. She notes in her question that the sticky surface inhibition, that's a sticky layer on the surface, is properly called an inhibition layer because of how it's formed. And it's correct. When oxygen is present, it blocks the ends of these growing polymer chains to prevent or inhibit these chains from becoming any longer. This is sometimes incorrectly called the dispersion layer, but that term refers to how oils spread over a surface like water or concrete pavement, and it's not really the correct way to describe the sticky layer. Rather than growing long enough to cause these UV gels to harden, these shortened chains remain in a semi-hardened form that's very easily removed from the surface of the hardened gel layer that's underneath it. It's because of the lack of oxygen that allows these lower layers to cure into a hardened state by UV energy. Faster curing UV gels generally have a thinner inhibition layer, while slower curing UV gels can have a thicker layer. This is because when a UV gel cures faster, oxygen has less time to block the chains and prevent them from growing. It's important to understand that if the lamp emits too little UV or emits UV of the incorrect wavelength, curing will be slower and the inhibition layer will become thicker. If the UV bulbs in the lamps need to be changed, this will also create a thicker layer. An inhibition layer that's 50% of the total applied product seems like a lot to me. Assuming that you're using the nail lamp recommended by the manufacturer of the UV gel, I'd recommend changing your bulbs, especially if they haven't been changed in a few months, and if you're using your lamp regularly. Also, make sure that the correct UV bulbs are being used in your nail lamp. UV bulbs may look the same, but the bulbs can differ greatly from manufacturer to manufacturer. In fact, they can differ significantly. The range of UV wavelengths and the intensity of UV could be lower than what's needed to properly cure. Also, low-quality UV bulbs will degrade much more quickly than a high-quality bulb and will need to be changed more often. It's wise to only use UV bulbs recommended by the manufacturer of the UV gel in order to help ensure proper curing. You can look at the part number that's printed on the bulb to ensure you're reordering the proper one. Dirty or gel-coated UV bulbs will not properly cure the nail coating either. So make sure you avoid this by cleaning your bulbs often. If a bulb becomes contaminated with a cured gel, well, it can be turned over once. Be sure that you warn your clients not to allow their nails to touch the bulbs, or for that matter, the LED diodes in a UV nail lamp, since this can drastically lower their effectiveness. The same is true for the reflective material inside the nail lamp. Make sure it's clean and not coated with cured UV gel. If the reflecting material is in poor condition, this can also affect curing. Improper placement of the hand in the lamp can also lead to improper cure and may create thicker inhibition layers, as can repeatedly pulling the hands out of the nail lamp. These are the main factors that can contribute to an excessive inhibition layer. Now, if you notice this layer is becoming thicker than normal, use these tips to find out why and correct the situation. As I said, 50% seems excessive to me, but you may have only been estimating the thickness. I would expect the inhibition layer of a properly cured UV gel to be 25% or less of the total applied layers. Undercured UV gels is a leading cause of adverse skin reactions for nail professionals and for clients, especially if they're repeatedly exposed to the dust and filings, which more often will happen to the nail professional. So don't ignore it when an excessively thick inhibition layer forms. And take care to avoid contact with the inhibition layer. Prolonged or repeated contact with this layer can also lead to adverse skin reactions, such as irritation or allergy.